Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video I'm going to be doing a voiceover of some of the battles I pulled from my stream off from March 7th. I'm obviously on my left, I'm there, and then on my right is my girlfriend, Cindy, my lovely, wonderful girlfriend, and she's always on my stream, doing her battles and also drawing various Pokemon for the community through the channel point redemption. So if you're following me on Twitch or watching me on Twitch, I'd highly recommend it. You can suggest teams and have me play them out, but you can also use your channel points that you accumulate while watching the stream to get some Pokemon art. So the first 5 battles are from like a full set for a team, and then the rest of them are just like key battles I pulled from the stream, and I just want to walk through them, talk about my mindset, how I was able to play out of them, or how my opponent was able to outplay me. So the first team is Alolan Ninetales with Charm and Medicham and Politoed. Quite a strong team. I think Charm Ninetales is, I know not a lot of people are fan of Charms, or some people are, is extremely strong in the meta. So obviously this is a very bad lead for Charm Ninetales, so I go straight to Medicham, and then I'm going to be met by Pelipper here. I'm going to go straight for the Psychic. I do have Power Up Punch on my Medicham, which I really like personally. A lot of people do like Ice Punch because it does give some really nice coverage against flyers. But here is one of the key reasons to have Power Up Punch is that you can boost your counter damage. And then they bait me, I shield. I need to shield one of the Weather Balls anyways. So I'm going to be able to Power Up Punch here. And this is going to allow me to outpace it. They're actually going to come in with Deoxys here. And now that my counters and my Psychic is boosted, this is actually going to do a decent amount of damage to the Deoxys, and now I just have to trust that this Deoxys does not have Rock Slide. So I'm guessing they have Thunderbolt. Most Deoxys now have Thunderbolt and Psycho Boost. So I switch out. I'm going to be met by this G-Fist. And I'm going to throw the Weather Ball here. They are going to be able to make it to the Earthquake. I think I decided not to shield this. I probably should have shielded it because it's pretty obvious that they're going to go for the EQ, but that's okay. I'm going to CMP tie here to the move. And I'm debating on whether or not to shield this or not. I do end up shielding it because it's a little bit too much health for my Ninetales to deal with. I do farm up a little bit extra. What I should have done is, I think I immediately switch after this. What I should have done though was to actually throw the Weather Ball, but they ended up throwing the Thunderbolt instead of the Psycho Boost. So potentially they could have Psycho Boost and counter me down, then had another Psycho Boost for. Actually, I'm able to get there. So they should have Psycho Boosted and then countered me down, and they would have had another Psycho Boost for my Politoed, and as well, I should have stayed in and threw the Weather Ball, and I would have been in a better spot, in my opinion. So a little bit of a misplay on my side, still able to pull out the win. Obviously, that Medicham state switch was really strong. Obviously, they came Deoxys. It would have been almost an impossible switch to win. So this is actually really good for me. Unfortunately, I don't have a great counter switch. This is where Ice Punch would be really helpful here for this particular matchup. But I am behind in energy. So what I'm going to do here is I know that Alolan Ninetales can beat Altaria down 2 shields to 0 because obviously just charm damage. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to double shield and then just straight Power Up Punch this Venusaur. And this is why I really like Power Up Punch, is that you can just basically just bulldoze through this Venusaur. I am going to look to farm down now. Actually, no, I end up throwing the Power Up Punch. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I should have farmed down there. I probably should have farmed down there. But they end up shielding anyways. I'm going to be able to survive this Frenzy Plan because XL Medicham is just an absolute beast. They're going to be able to come in and farm me with Altaria. So they actually come into Metacham, so they're very weak to Alolan Ninetales. And Charmalone Ninetales is pretty much a disaster for them to deal with. So I really debate on how to play this, because as you can see there, I'm really thinking about how to play this because I don't want to get farmed down by the Altaria too much. So I think I let them do a few more counters here, and then they also have the same idea. They want to farm, so I let them do a few more counters. That's why I just stood there, but I am going to be able to survive this sky attack, no problem. And they don't have that much energy. This should be all the energy that they have, and then I'm going to be able to double resisting the Dragon Breath means that I'm going to be able to get to the Weather Ball before they make it to another Sky Attack. So Charm Ninetales just like ridiculously strong. With that Weather Ball, it's kind of crazy though to have a Charmer have access to a very strong move that early. So they stay in to see if I have Powder Snow or Weather Ball. So I end up staying here a little bit. I think I catch a move. Let's see. I think one more Charm. Oh, okay. Nope. Let this go. I could have went to Politoed right away, and it's an okay counter, but I do like getting that guaranteed switch here. I'm going to throw the EQ. This should be enough to KO the Azumarill. I'm expecting this to be a power-up punch. Yeah, it is. And I thought about going for the EQ, but I definitely would not have made it. I need like 4 more, or 3 more. 1, 2... Yeah, I definitely would have fainted. So I'm going to switch here. I am going to shield this in case there's a Psychic. They could pop me, but they don't. And I go into Metacham, and this game's over, right? So this Power Up Punch is just going to be too oppressive for this Stunfisk. I obviously had like really great alignment against this team. I don't need to shield this. Well, I end up shielding it, but I really didn't need to shield the Earthquake here. But I guess it doesn't really matter here. I'm going to be able to counter down before they get to another Earthquake, and then as well, I'm going to be able to throw the Psychic here, even though I probably should have Powered Up Punch, because they still have a shield left. But so off to a really strong start with this team. Metacham Stay Switch is interesting. Obviously, there's things that do counter it, even the XL version. So obviously, another fantastic lead here. So they go. I think this time I catch a move instead of throwing. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So I catch the move here, hoping to catch the Hydro Pump. They end up throwing the Ice Beam. Totally fine by me. The Earthquake won't KO this time because I didn't throw the Psyshock. And I am going to look to Mud Shot down. It is my girlfriend's birthday, which is why the chat's always saying happy birthday to her. They end up only having Hydro Pump and Ice Beam. So I'm going to throw a bunch of Weather Balls here. Just spam it out like a ridiculous amount. So there's the second one. Actually, maybe I don't make it to another one here. Let's see here. And then I go into Ninetales. They go into... So here's the thing. With Metacham, you can actually win the one shield. I think straight Power Up Punch, if I recall correctly. Let me just make sure I look that up. This is how like crazy Metacham is. Let's see. Against Toxicrow. Maybe... Okay, let me just make sure. Maybe I'm thinking wrong. Yeah, you can win the one shield if you have an XL one, straight pop. It's like absolutely craziness. They do the weird sim weird here actually though. I don't know why they're... Not throwing the Sludge Bomb. I still win with like 8 HP left if you go to straight Power Up Punch. So I prefer doing it that way. A little bit safer of play, and as well allows me to boost my Medicham afterwards. Obviously, if you land the Psychic in one shots, then you win the matchup even harder. But in that case, I like to go with the more predictable gameplay, which is just to straight Power Punch. They're not going to shield until the last one, or until the later one, and then. All right, so this is actually a good matchup for Charm Ninetales because the Charm damage does do quite a bit. I'm not going to shield this. They throw the Play Rough. I'm going to throw the Psy Shock here. So they need 4 more bubbles to make it to another one. So let's see what I do here. They go into, very interesting, they go into Sableye here onto a Charm Ninetales. I grab the shield, and I'm gonna shield this, and then the Weather Ball won't KO, but the Earthquake does. Even though Earthquake doesn't have stab, I'd rather throw the one Earthquake here than double Weather Ball, just to save me. I guess in this case, like it's not that much energy I save, like 5 energy, but it does allow me to save the energy. It's one turn sooner, so I throw a bunch of Weather Balls here. I think my opponent makes a mistake here, especially since my Ninetales is so low. That they actually end up throwing a move here. I guess they figured this is their last Pokemon. They didn't want it to be too low. And I probably would have made it to another one. But in my opinion, their best chance to win was to Dragon Breath down. I'm actually able to get Charm through, which is huge for me. They have to throw their all their energy here onto Ninetales. And then I'm going to go into Medicham. And I shield this. They don't have a move on Altaria. So I do pop here. I could have countered down, but I'm going to do a no bubble pop. And then I'm going to be able to counter down. And then I'm one turn away from a Psychic, even though they would have fainted with a Power Up Punch there. So I'm able to win the game there. I believe that's the end of that particular set. I ended up going 5-0, which I was pleased with. So next team is, I think it's like, this is a weird team, right? So... kind of weird team. So I know that they have a Toxicroak in the back, so I need to be cognizant of that. So I just go straight for the Moonblast. Cresselia is such a good counter to the Medicham Safe Switch, because I'm able to do super effective damage with the Moonblast, because it is a fairy move, and then Medicham is a fighting psychic type, but the fighting part is the relevant piece. And then Cresselia, even in Grey League, is such a monster. You can just take this damage like no problem. And then I don't shield here again. As you can see, they burnt a shield already. And we pretty much have this same health. And I'm going to be able to Grass Knot here to take out the Medicham. And I'm looking pretty good here. Honestly, I would have been in kind of trouble here if they would have came in Toxicroak and farmed me down, because obviously Psychopaths still do a lot, but not quite enough here. I really debated shielding this or not, but I'm like, I could use the shield advantage to take out the Toxicroak. But perhaps in hindsight, shielding would have been better, given how low I end up getting. But I'm able to get to this double Mud Bomb. They get no counter through, which is fantastic for me. I have the second Mud Bomb, which is going to be more than enough to KO. It's like 6 counters plus the Mud Bomb to take out a Toxicroak. And then I'm going to switch over here into Umbreon, and this game's over. Umbreon typically has a slightly losing matchup to Bastiodon, but because I'm up a shield, I'm able to win that game pretty well. So this next team is Shadow Venusaur. As you can see, this is my Ultra League Venusaur that I'm eventually going to power up. And then Talonflame and Jellicent. I don't have a good Great League Shadow Venusaur, so a little disappointing on that front, but it's okay. We go Venusaur into Galvantula. It's actually a Fury Cutter Galvantula, which is actually worse for me because at least when it's okay, they actually go into Deoxys here. When it's Volt Switch, I'm able to try to switch there, but they have they're throwing a Psycho Boost right away at me, which is very strange. But I end up shielding, and then I'm going to switch out, and then I'm going to look to farm down this all the way because they are 2-stage debuffed because of the Psycho Boost. They actually ended up not having Rock Slide, which is fantastic for me. So the Volt Switch is slightly better for Venusaur because it does resist the Volt Switch as opposed to the Fury Cutters are neutral. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball here. I'm going to throw another Shadow Ball here. I see that my clock is up, so I'm going to call what we call combo play them. And then I throw the Sludge Bomb, and I'm able to take out this Galvantula. And they have a Stunfisk here, Unova Stunfisk, and this should be a CMP tie, but it doesn't matter because Shadow Venusaur is an absolute monster. Just does a crazy amount of damage. I think I go with this team again. Not entirely sure why, but the Fury Cutter. It is interesting. I actually didn't even realize it gets Fury Cutter. It gets stabbed on the Fury Cutter, but the amount of damage it does is way less. But obviously against Venusaur, it would do more than resisted Volt Switches. This was a really good game here. All right. So Bombasnow, obviously really bad for me. They come to Sableye. And throw the Shadow Ball here, which does a huge chunk. And then I think I go to Venusaur here, and I'm going to try to farm down. I'm not going to shield Venusaur. At this point in time, Venusaur is more of a liability to me. So I'm going to look to farm down. And then I think I throw the Frenzy Plan because I wouldn't make it to the Sludge Bomb. And really good counting by my opponent to realize it's going to just be oh, actually, no, they shielded. Okay. Well, I guess the Frenzy Plan did a lot anyways. I'm actually able to get to the second Incinerate through, which is really huge for me. And they come into Deoxys here. And I don't know why I didn't Flame Charge right away. I should just Flame Charge right away. And I should have Flame Charged right here right away. Not entirely sure why I didn't. I have to determine whether this is going to be... I hope no Rock Slide. They actually Psycho Boost me here, which is really huge, right? So I'm not entirely sure why I'm not throwing right away. And they're going to be able to throw the Thunderbolt here. But the thing is, when they're 2-stage debuff, this is like a neutral Thunderbolt. So even though it says super effective, I should debated switching out there, and I'm gonna Flame Charge this Abomasnow and just like absolutely melt it. All right, just absolutely destroy it. So really good game there. They probably could have went double Thunderbolt. Was probably their play there. I understand like trying to bait and thinking that Talonflame's pretty squishy. It would still do pretty well. So here, I think I had double ice. No, not double ice. Jellicent, Ninetales, and Scrafty. Interesting team. Okay, Jellicent into Toxtricity, obviously a fantastic lead. They come into... I could have went to Ninetales there, but this is okay too. I'm going to undercharge this Power Up Punch, so I come out with a with a foul play, and I don't want to be at that much health, so I am gonna take this body slam. And there's no way they make it to a second one, and I'm gonna be able to throw this foul play at this Toxicroak, which is gonna be really nice for me. Do some really nice chip damage to this Toxicroak for later. And then I'm going to go straight to Jellicent, build up a little bit. I'm going to take this move, which is fine for me. They mud bomb me, makes sense. And then here comes Daddy Cash, I believe. I thought it was going to be a Swampert, but yeah, this is perfectly fine for me. I'm going to throw the Weather Ball here. We basically get to our moves at the same rate, but obviously they're way lower. Mud Bomb is a worse move than Weather Ball. Even though Mud Bomb's 5 more energy, it does 5 less damage. And then I untap to get off this Weather Ball, which is really not necessary because, this game doesn't really matter. This game's over here. They're just conceding at this point in time. Right. This is one of my most favorite teams. Shadow Bombastone, Azumarill, and Sableye. So obviously I pick up a really, really good lead here. They come into Cress, which is so problematic for me. Cress is such a huge problem for my team. I end up shielding this, thinking it's going to be the Moonblast. I could survive the Moonblast. And they can't Psycho Cut me down, so they do have to throw 2 moves here. But I'd rather throw the foul play here, and then I'm going to look to... I probably should have Shadow Claw down, but this is okay too. Forcing this Swampert to... Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're building up extra energy here. So we'll get a shield here, which is nice. I switch out. The Weather Ball will do a huge chunk to... They actually do a really nice job baiting me. That's my last shield too, which is pretty bad for me. And this is going to be the Sludge Wave. So that's really bad. So I wait the clock out fully. I'm going to come into Azumarill here. I am going to have to eat the Sludge Wave. There's just no way for me to avoid it. I'll live it for sure. It's not a big deal. And I switch out, and then I'm going to look to Shadow Claw down this Swampert. I have a Play Rough banked as well. And they come into Ninetales here. There's no way I'm going to be able to make it to the move. And I actually make a mistake here. I throw the Play Rough, thinking that my Hydro Pump is actually on the... I TM this Azumarill all the time. So I throw the Play Rough here, which I obviously is not going to KO. But here's the thing. I'm going to be able to survive this Psyshock here. And I'm actually going to be able to... bubble this down perfectly, and then I'm actually able to survive and get to this another Play Rough. So my mistake actually ended up being the move that allowed me to win the game. So sometimes you outplay your opponent, and sometimes you just have happy accidents and actually end up winning the game. So but a really, really good game there. So Talonflame, Sableye, and Lapras. I do have like a pretty big Azu weakness, but Sableye can definitely handle its own. Okay, so this is good for me. I probably shouldn't throw this right away, but I end up throwing it anyway. So I'm gonna look to try to come out of this matchup with a foul play. I'm able to get the Shadow Claw through. I expect this to be a Thunderbolt. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could have farmed up a little bit more, because if I threw right there, then it would have been a Psycho Boost, which I definitely would have survived. So I know they have a Bastion in the back, which is obviously really problematic for me. So I'm actually able to grab the shield advantage here, which is all I really want. This is going to be pretty tough for me. I throw the Incinerate here, and then I switch out into Lapras. And Lapras, a losing matchup to Bastiodon, obviously taking super effective from the Smackdowns, but able to, and Ice Shards are resisted, but able to dish out super effective Surfs. So we end up CMP tying there, but they are definitely over on energy. I think they're like 1 over. So I don't give them a Smackdown there. So they should be at 5. They need 2 more to the Stone Edge. So they need 1 more to the Stone Edge. And they have the Stone Edge here. But I think they figured they have to Stone Edge my and take the shield. Because I would be able to Flame Charge them and take them out. And then, you know, the only reasonable way to take out a Shadow Vic with a Brave Bird. So, all right, and then those are all the battles there. So, anyways, so hopefully, I should have put myself face there. Anyways, awkward outro. But if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.